Hey everybody, welcome back. I want to talk a little bit about this week's work. And I also wanted to answer a couple of questions that I've got individually from various people about some of the APA formatting and operating Microsoft Word when you're creating your assignments for the course. So let me go ahead and open the course first, and then we'll take a look at Word. I'm going to share both of those first so that I have them both open, and then we'll go into Word here in a second. All right, so we are entering week number 5, which seems crazy, but we are doing it. And it is the work week for the technical documents. So early this week, you'll be getting your feedback on the technical concentration quiz. And sometime this week on the professional writing portfolios, so that you can make those revisions. Remember that if you are going to make revisions to the experience and interest inventory, those are due this week. And I know several of you have already turned them in, so I know I've been getting them. But do remember, if you want to give me those, I do need them soon. I know it took me a while to grade them because of my being sick, but if you so you can have a few extra days if you need to, but just be alert on that. So that's what you're going to be working on. You're going to create basically another portfolio, just like we've been doing. And so hopefully the Word stuff will help with that as well. Remember that we are using APA in terms of documentation, and the cover page should be an APA cover page. What the documents themselves within the portfolios look like might be a little bit different, because they are, they can be single spaced where needed. I want you to make them look as logically good as you can. So we'll go over that assignment together. Um, let's see. Let's go. In fact, let's do that now, and then we'll go into Word. All right. So in terms of the module, we are in week 5, and week 6 is already open as well. So if you do want to look ahead, I'm going to try to get 7, 8, 9, etc. open early this week. Hopefully, I am. You can tell I still sound a little bit weird, but I am feeling 100% better, so we should be able to get those up and running. All right, so in the overview and learning materials, there are some helpful things on the assignments, links to the assignments, the technical document portfolio. That's going to be the first submission of that this week. And then, of course, the professional writing portfolio. Once you get that back, you can do some revision to it, just like the previous one. And you can always take a little extra time if needed, especially right now, since once one thing gets a little behind, everything's behind for a little bit. So, I thank you for bearing with me anyway. We do have a reading assignment on research from chapter 5 of the online textbook. I do also have a couple of videos for you that are done by me. One is on research and one is on information literacy. I've also got a link to the APA materials in the Citation Center. And for those of you who had been asking for things like a template or a guide to just the setup of APA, that is where you will find the library's document. And you want to use the one that is the student sample for APA. The only thing that doesn't have that I do want you guys to be using, it does not really do the headings and subheadings, and it does not have a table of contents. So the samples that I'm giving you, especially the one that I gave you for the professional writing portfolio, has everything in it that you need. So if you need another copy of that sample, those are posted along with the videos in the announcements. But if you need it and you're having trouble with it, let me know. Send me an inbox and I can always forward it to you again. But the Citation Center does have everything you need to know about citing sources in APA, and it does have the overall basic template. So those are your materials for this week, and then we will go to the assignments. So let me open the technical document portfolio assignment. The goal of this assignment is for students to develop a comprehensive portfolio of tech documents in the field of your choosing. This project aims to enhance your technical writing skills, demonstrate your understanding of document design and audience analysis, and showcase your ability to communicate complex information effectively. So, of course, in the concentration quiz, you were asked to be narrowing down the field that you want to use when you are writing your technical documents. So select a specific field or industry of interest where technical documentation plays a crucial role. And honestly, every field has technical documentation. Anytime you are seeing, say, user manuals or instructions or anything like that, we are talking about having technical documents. So it doesn't have to be related to technology in the sense of computers and things of that nature, even though that's the first thing that kind of comes to mind usually when we're thinking about that. But you will be able to choose any field that you want. Now, most of you are going to be focused, of course, on the field where you plan to work, or some of you who already are in the field that you plan on working in and staying in will be doing things that are specific to that. But that's one of the reasons that on the interest inventory, I allowed you to also be thinking about things that you're just interested in learning more about. So, for example, if you wanted to focus on, say, learning to scuba dive or learning to do something really, something that you've never done before, mountain climbing or skiing or really anything, you could use that as your concentration for your technical writing and not necessarily the field that you plan on working in. Now, of course, most of you are going to have a field that you're interested in exploring. And I have a very long list here of possibilities. So, I mean, it could be something as highly technical as engineering or as folk artsy as knitting or quilting. Like, one of the reasons I enjoy teaching this class, and I think I've talked about this before with you guys, is that it doesn't have to be narrow to a specific, like, oh, we're all going to write about computers, or oh, we're all going to write about um health and fitness or criminal justice or whatever. So really be thinking about, not just what you are interested in doing for a living, but what you're interested in learning more about. And I think that's a really good way to tackle this assignment, as well as the bigger assignment, which is the formal analytical report. Now, part of what you're going to be doing with your technical documents is to identify your target audience. So, one of the things that is true of technical writing is that typically it is aimed at a specific audience that needs to learn the materials that are in those documents. So, for example, if I were writing about quilting as a for a technical documents, my audience is going to be people who want to also do quilting. It's not going to be people who are not interested in quilting. It's not going to be trying to convince people they should quilt. It's going to be aimed at an audience that is already interested in the subject. And you get to pick how advanced or not advanced that audience already is. That's one reason that I don't know that you want to pick something that is in your ultimate field of work, say something like engineering or aviation, because if you are currently working on your associate's degree, but you are ultimately planning on being an engineer, you are probably not to the point where you could be writing technical documents for other engineers. Now, you could approach it as far as, I want to write technical documents about other people who are interested in studying engineering, and that's certainly fine. So there's a range here. You can write your audience being people who are already active in the field. You can write for an audience that is brand new to a field, or you can write for an audience that doesn't know any more than you do right now, but you're getting them new information. So that's one of the things that you're going to want to do as you are approaching this document. Identifying your target audience, selecting your document types. Now, you will be creating 3 technical documents, and you get some say-so as far as which ones are the most appropriate given your subject and your audience. So here's the list. Examples can include definitions, descriptions, instructions, and within instructions, there's a wide range. So it could be a user manual, a technical specification document, a process document, like a how to use something, safety guidelines, or training materials. So you could conceivably write all 3 documents that are various kinds of instructions. I'm not limiting it to you've got to have one definition, one description, and one instructional piece. It makes sense to do it that way, but it also could be, I want to do a training manual or user manual, but I also want to do safety guidelines or process document. So you get to pick within that what you want to do. Develop then original technical documents for each chosen type. Ensure that each document is well researched, accurate, and demonstrates your ability to convey complex information in a clear and concise manner. The technical documents are typically not very long. I would say no more than a couple of pages for each of them. And it may even just be 1 page. It could be all on 1 page. So these do not have to be very long. In fact, if you think about it, typically when you go to read a set of instructions, it is very helpful that they be as short as possible. Now, they still have to be complete, but they don't have to be terribly long. Then you're going to, of course, put it into this portfolio. With document design and formatting, I absolutely do want to see you using visuals, headings, and other formatting elements to enhance the readability. You will have a cover page, a table of contents. You will have visuals that are integrated into your document as well as being properly figure numbered and captioned. And then, of course, a references page. Any research that is used within the documents themselves, you will use in-text citation, just as if you were writing a formal research paper. Now, in the real world, your documents would probably not have in-text citations, but this is still an assignment for school. So wherever you're using your research, you do need to cite it, and of course, include the reference page. Any sources for the visuals also need to be cited. Providing context, include a brief introduction that outlines the chosen field, the purpose of each document, and the specific needs of your target audience. So before the documents start, you would have no more than a page of introduction. So that's where you're going to state, here's the field that I'm doing, and here are the 3 documents that I've chosen, and why. Why would that fit the needs of your target audience? So of course, you're also going to be defining who your target audience is. After the 3 documents, you will also include a reflective statement explaining the rationale behind your document choices, the challenges faced during the creation process, and how you address them. Discuss the importance of effective technical writing in your chosen field. So your portfolio may be fairly short. It may also be very long, but you want to make sure that you have done what you have set out to do. So you get to make the choices, but then you also have to make sure that you include enough detail to really complete it. Okay, so let's take a look at a Word document. Now, this was the one that I originally set up for the professional portfolio. So I'm going to change this and we're going to create your new sample. So I'm going to resave this with a new title when I get done with it. So we're going to call this portfolio, Let's Get Technical. And we'll leave everything else the same, except let's go ahead and update this date. So we're going to put February. Oops. Good grief. And today is the 4th. Okay. On page 2, it's going to be our table of contents. So I'm going to leave this for right now. This will need to be updated, of course, but we're gonna do that updating ourselves. So instead of a memorandum, the first thing that's going to be in here is the introduction. So we're going to use the headings. Remember, if you're doing this right, you're going to be using the headings and subheadings for in Word. So let's say we call this the introduction, and then let's make subheadings for topic, and audience, and what was the third thing that it talked about? In the introduction, purpose of document. Oh, the types of documents. Okay, so, and then we're going to put, let's put document types, make this a heading. And those will probably be numbered. Remember, you need to have 3. Oops, I don't need that many. I'm hitting enter a little higgledy-piggledy. Okay. So the next thing then that we would need to do would be to insert a page break. Remember, we want to use Word to do all this. You want to use the tools that are in Word. And if my discussion of it is not as helpful, or if you need more help with it, I highly recommend searching YouTube for tutorials on Word, because there's a lot of really good stuff. All right, so we're going to insert a page break. And then our next item, let's say we're going to use a definition first. So we need a heading, sorry, for definition. And then we're going to have our definition. Let's remind ourselves how to insert a visual. So we're going to put an insert, and I did this before, and of course I don't always 100% remember, but I think we use references. Yeah, okay. So let's insert the photo first. I'm just going to pick a picture. I want something fairly small. I don't want to take up too much space. And then of course I can adjust the size. And we're going to click, while we're still clicked on the photo, we're going to use the references area, and we're going to do insert caption. Notice that when you do insert caption, it automatically puts figure 1. So we're going to put a description here, and we're going to put a citation. Now, of course, this was my own photo, so I wouldn't cite it, but most of you will probably get pictures from online. So let's put Smith as the person, just for the sake of having something there. All right, and we're going to click OK, and it's going to automatically do that for us. Now we can continue. Now you can get as fancy as you want with text wrapping and all kinds of other stuff, but I am absolutely fine if you have it, hit enter, put the visual in, hit enter again, and then go ahead and type. If you're really good at the fancy word wrapping and all of that stuff, you certainly can do it. You would do and accomplish that under, I believe, if we click on this, yeah. Notice we have a new thing that opens called picture format. This is where you can wrap text, you can put the position, you can change it, you can put it in the middle of the text, you can do all kinds of fun stuff with it. You definitely, though, I don't care if it's fancy, but you definitely do need the photos on the page with the thing that they're talking about. Do not have them all at the end. Okay, that's the only thing that I ask. You don't have to do fancy text wrapping, but you do need them integrated into the document. All right. Now we would have another page break, and we would have our second document. Let's put heading for that. Let's do user user manual. And then we would have our thing. Now, a user manual is going to have subheadings. You're going to make those decisions and divide it up in a way that makes logical sense, et cetera, et cetera. I'm not going to put that in here. I'm just going to put some text as a holder. But your user manual will be as complicated as you need it to be in order to make it make sense. Probably you're going to have a visual on this page as well. On each of the pages, you're probably going to have at least one visual, if not more. If you're showing things in step by step, sometimes you will have a literal visual for each of the steps that need to take place. So I'm just going to put some text holder in here. Insert another page break. And let's say our last one, I'm going to use, let's do safety guidelines because that's one of the other possibilities. Now with safety guidelines, I would almost guarantee that instead of actual text, you would be using a bulleted list. Again, put some visuals on this page, et cetera, et cetera. You're going to cite anything that you use. So we are going to also insert one more page break, and we are going to make our last heading our reflection. Well, almost our last heading. And this is where you'll write your reflection as long or as short as it needs to be. And one final page, which is our references page. Now, typically I would want you to use just the regular references, but because we are using a table of contents, I'm going to make a heading 1 and I'm going to call it references. So the heading for this page might look a little bit different from a regular APA document, but the rest of it will be a regular bulleted, not bulleted, but a regular reference list where you have things that are double spaced. This is not yet. I'm going to double space it here in a second, but with the hanging indent. So I want to put this in, give you some things that we can use for formatting. We're going to put this in alphabetical order and we're going to double space it. Okay, so I don't care if the rest of the document is single spaced or however you want to set it up that makes the most sense. But for the references page, do double space those, do use hanging indent, do use alphabetical order, like make it the real thing. Okay, so we now need to update our table of contents. So we click on it. We're going to put update table and it automatically does everything for us. Notice that now for this document, we not only have the page numbers for the headings, but we also have the page numbers for the subheadings. So make sure that you are using that style. I mean, this doesn't have to exactly look like this. You can use a different table of content style, but have Word do it for you. I promise you will not be sad that you did. Make sure that you are properly using your visuals with the figure numbers and a caption that tells us what we are looking at, as well as a citation if needed. Now, you may notice that this document is starts out, in fact, I need to fix that. This document starts out in Times New Roman 12, but then everything else is in the default font. So I'm gonna, even though I don't like the new default, I'm gonna change this. I'm not gonna change the rest of the document. So that is now the same font as the rest of the paper. And we're going to do the same thing for the page number. That should be the same font. So even though I am not a fan of Aptos, we're just going to get over it. All right. So I'm going to use a new title for this. We're going to save it as the tech portfolio sample, and I will attach this in the announcement so that you can use it as a template. All right. So that's what you're doing this week, along with any revisions from before. If you have any questions throughout the week, let me know, and I will see you next week. Maybe I'll be me again, or maybe I'll be another animal. Guess we'll find out. By the way, those of you who have been watching this video and have watched to the end the way that you're supposed to, will have the ability between today, February 4th, and no later than Thursday. So it has to be to me by Thursday. You can send me an inbox that has extra credit as the subject line, and in the body, all you have to write is pink bunny rabbit. That's it. That's all you got to do, and you will get extra credit. I will add that extra credit onto an assignment, so you will get above 100% on something that you already have points on. So be on the lookout. Take care, everybody. Have a great week.